What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're taking a look at the Grim Workshop monthly subscription for April 2025. This subscription costs $20 a month, and for that they send you American-made bushcraft survival and EDC type gear in the form factor of a credit card, dog tag, or other small metal objects. I'll leave a link in the description where you can find more about this subscription. You can also check out my Grim Workshop playlist if you're curious what's come in some of the previous months. But for now, let's dive into April. So up first for April, we'll start with our tips as usual, but instead of our standard tip cards, we actually get a tip guide. This is valued at $4.95 versus $1.85 for the tip guide or the tip cards, but you are getting a lot more information since you really only get one panel of information on the card, since one panel is reserved for their socials and contact information. This one's giving you 7 panels in total of information. It starts out by telling you how to start a solar fire, and this is all assuming you have a magnifying glass, but in the case that you don't, the rest of the guide focuses on other things that you might be able to find in your environment, basically like litter or around the house that you may be able to use to start a solar fire instead. So things like plastic wrap, water bottles, a balloon, a Ziploc bag, a light bulb, a soda can, and it has instructions on how to use each of those for a solar fire as well, since it's not always super intuitive, and so has step-by-step instructions on how to do exactly that. And then there's some improvised lenses that are a little bit more obvious, things like glasses, binoculars, and camera optics that all have glass in them as well. So really helpful little guide, again valued at $4.95, although I do prefer the form factor of the cards because they're a lot more durable. It's like a plasticky material that's water resistant, tear resistant. These ones do have the advantage that they have so much more information. They are more susceptible to the elements and can definitely be torn, but you can also utilize this as a form of tinder as well. Because it's just paper, you can tear that up and use it as your fire starter. And so we get that one. We still get a second guide, even though they're valued so much higher than the tip cards. We usually get 2 tip cards and we still get 2 tip guides. This one is guide number 1, and it's on lock picking. And so this one has information obviously that pertains to how to pick a lock. So has some nice illustrations on that front page. You also have a lot of just general lock picking tips. And then the rest of the guide is focused on the different type of picks, rakes, and tension wrenches. And so how to utilize each of those. Now again, you may not have lock picks, so it does give a way to kind of create those from things you find in your environment, specifically a paper clip or a bobby pin. And for both paper clip and bobby pins, assuming you're able to find 2 of each, shows you how to create both the tension wrench and then also the pick from each of those. And once again, valued at $4.95. Moving on to the tools, we actually get 2 small tools this month. Typically you get 1, but a lot of times when they're micro tools, you end up getting 2, since those are the least expensive tools they send in the subscription. So up first we have the file micro tool, and you can see this is just a tiny little file. Plenty of real estate though, more than you'll need for most kind of applications if you just need a quick file, and super aggressive grabby file here, nice kind of texture to that. And you can see there's attachment points on both sides. It does come with this little attacher to attach it to your key ring or your necklace, but you can also just put the ring directly on here. I think the reason for putting it on both sides in this case, because most of the micro tools only have it on one, is if you want to put a handle on here. So maybe you tie off some paracord, or even just put a key ring on each side to use as a handle to thread through your fingers, then you can use that and attach it to the file to make it a little bit more easy to use if you're going to be using it for more than just a few seconds. And so this is valued at $5.99, but we also get a second micro tool. And so the second one is the spoon lure micro tool. And you can see this has a spoon lure just like you'd expect, but it has an integrated fishing hook on there, so you don't need it separately. You can just thread that on there and have both your lure and hook. And this one does have the adhesive backing. The file didn't have that because you can't actually remove anything from the file. So the adhesive backing works for 2 things. One, once you use that hook, you can clean it back up and put it back on there, and it does retain that stickiness for a long time. The backing also doesn't really like melt and stick to the material like some of the other cards out there, and so it's really nice adhesive backing. But you notice it also has this white strip similar to what you'd see on like a 3M backing, and that's because you can also just stick this to your kit itself. So maybe you want this on the outside of an Altoid tin, you can stick it directly on there. You could also stick it directly to the outside of like your tackle box or whatever the case may be, although in that case you probably have real lures and hooks, but it does give you a lot of options. And once again, valued at $5.99. Now, last but not least, we get a signature card this time around. These are their most premium cards typically, and they're usually based off of some sort of survivalist. So this is the Roland Welker signature card. They collaborated with him. He was the winner of Season 7 of Alone, arguably one of the best competitors on Alone of all time, which it's pretty cool to see him get a signature card. They work with a lot of people that have been on Alone, both winners and just kind of popular contestants, and this one definitely feels like it fits his personality. He was the person that's caught the biggest game on Alone, and so all the tools on here feel just kind of larger than life. And so we have a large spear point, a lot bigger than we typically get. We also get a really nice knife that I think with this tie off point would double well as a spear. You can like split a stick and put it around here, tie it around the tip of that stick, and so you can also use that knife as a stick, but you also get the knife and the spear, so you have both. You have a larger lure and 2 large fishing hooks, a little bit larger than we typically see from a lot of their hooks and lures, and then we get a sewing needle as well as an awl, and so both again decently sized. The awl I guess is pretty normal size, but that sewing needle is a little bit larger. And then this one's valued at $21.95. Really cool to see from here. This is probably one of the higher value months that we've gotten. I think this one totaled right around the $40 mark. A big part of that was because we got the 2 tip guides, which cost more than the tip cards. They're not taking anything away from there, and you're not paying any more really, so it just kind of comes down to preference there. But they do value those a little bit higher, and again, you do get a little bit more information than you would get with the tip card. So overall, I think really strong month this month, but would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, or checking out some of my other content, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.